Remains of 5 bodies discovered in a burnt-out van in Dankotua. CID leads the investigation.
UN High Commissioner for Human Rights Prince Zaid Raad Al Hussein says that Sri Lanka is journeying towards peace, reconciliation and accountability.
Venerable Uduwe Thammalokotero granted bail.
Bill to increase the private sector wages by 2,500 rupees and to ensure the minimum wage is 10,000 rupees passed in Parliament.
Sharp growth recorded from the Colombo Stock Exchange.
With news from here at home and from the sporting arena, you're watching Prime Time News on News First. A very good evening to you. I am Chaturang Hapuarachi.
And I'm Dasnia Thaga. A walk organized under the theme Beat Invisible Glaucoma was held under the auspices of President Maithripala Sirisena today.
The walk was organized in line with World Glaucoma Week by the National Eye Hospital, and it commenced from Vihar Mahadevi Park and proceeded back to the Eye Hospital Junction. Deputy Minister Faisal Qasim along with many other renowned personalities were present at the walk.
Now, the remains of late Mahanayaka of the Askidi chapter of the Siam sect, Most Venerable Galagama Sri Attadasi Thera, was moved to the Prabhupali Memorial Hall of the Askidi temple for the public to pay their last respects. The cremation of the late Mahanayaka will take place on Sunday, the 13th, under full state honours.
The public in their large numbers have been arriving since last night to pay their last respects to the remains of the late Mahanayaka Thero. General Secretary of the United People's Freedom Alliance, Mahinda Amarabira, also paid his last respects. The funeral of the late Mahanayaka Thero will take place at the Askiri Police Grounds in Kandy on Sunday. Convening a media briefing today, Vajra Bewardhana, the Minister of Home Affairs, said cabinet approval was sought to raise the national flag at half-mast, close all taverns and butcher shops, and also close all cinema halls in the Kandy district on that day. As a government, we have given thought to the services rendered by the late Mahanayaka to the Sasana, the community and the nation, and declared Sunday as a national day of mourning. We have taken all measures to organize the funeral, and the responsibility has been vested with the Kandy District Secretary.
Venerable Banakala Upatisatero, who is the chairman of the Mahabodhi Society of Sri Lanka and the chief Sanganayaka of Japan, says that the late Mahanayaka of the Askidi chapter of the Siam sect, Most Venerable Galagama Sri Attadasi Thera, was one who worked close with all without any difference.
His passing is a loss not only to Sri Lanka but to the whole Buddhist world. I have the opportunity to visit several places of worship in India with the Mahanayaka Thero. I recall the time he visited the airport. The days I spent with the Mahanayaka were ones that were very fruitful. He worked closely with all without considering any difference. I pray that the late Mahanayaka Thero attains Nibbana.
United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights Zaid Raad Al Hussein, making a statement to the Human Rights Council's 31st session, commented on Sri Lanka's journey towards reconciliation.
There are important lessons in this respect for Sri Lanka, which is on its own journey toward accountability, reconciliation and durable peace. Important steps have been taken to reform the constitution, revive independent institutions and restore an environment for freedom or for free expression and debate. powerful symbolic gestures of reconciliation have been made, for instance singing the national anthem in Tamil, although other steps such as the release of land held by the military, reviewing the cases of security detainees and resolving the issue of disappearances need to move forward faster. The next months will be important as the government embarks on national consultations for the design of a comprehensive transitional justice process to implement fully this Council's resolution. It will be very important that this takes place in an environment free of surveillance and intimidation, so the voices of victims can be heard. Reports of violations must be promptly investigated and addressed, and I look forward to reporting to you further on progress at the June session.
On Crime Watch tonight, the charred bodies of 5 persons were discovered inside a burnt-out van in the Bujampula area in Dankotua this morning. The investigations on this matter have been handed over to the Criminal Investigations Department.
Police discovered this burned-out van this morning in the Kosenawate area on the Bujanpula Irabadagama Road in Dankotua. Information of the discovery had come through the 119 police emergency hotline. The van that was burned out is said to be of a financial institution registered under the number WPPH1080. Police suspect that the van had made its way to the isolated area between 2 and 5 this morning. The van was completely burned by the fire and the bodies that were discovered inside were charred beyond recognition. A correspondent who visited the location said that the bodies were located in the rear seats of the van. They added that there were no bodies on the front seats of the van. Police suspects that the victims had been shot at first and then brought to this location in the van and had been set on fire. In addition, a pair of footwear was discovered next to the van, while blood splatter was found 500 meters away from the location. And police have ruled out any possibility that the van had caught fire following a technical fault. The magisterial inquiry was conducted by the Additional Magistrate of Marvilla. There are suspicions that the driver of the van may be a resident from the Mankandura area in Pandala, as the wife who came to the area recognized the van. As the bodies were burned beyond recognition, she failed to identify her husband from amongst the bodies. She had informed the police that her husband has been missing since a week. The individual named as Kapila Senarat Bandaru is one who has several case files against him and is said to be a repossession employee from a leasing company. Police said that the van was registered to a woman from Kolpiti. Police added that she had provided this van to the said financial institution based in Colombo. According to the locals, 2 homicides had taken place in this area on 2 previous occasions. The bodies were handed over to the Negombo Judicial Medical Officer for the post-mortem examination.
Police are yet to make an arrest of the shooting in Savanagala, which claimed the life of a woman.
The shooting had taken place in Hamburugama 700 area in Savanagala at around 1:30 this morning. The victim was a 49-year-old mother of 3. Her husband, who was injured in the shooting, was rushed to the Ambalipatia base hospital. 2 children had been at the house at the time of the shooting. However, they were not harmed. Police said that the gunman had attempted to open the back door of the house. As they had failed to open the door, the gunman had shot through the hole of the door. Police said that the shooting may be the result of a land dispute.
The restructuring and enforcing the Civil Defence Committee of the Kaluthara jurisdiction for the year 2016 took place today.
The ceremony took place at the Kaluthara Municipal Hall under the auspices of Minister Sagala Ratnayaka and Inspector General of Police N.K. Ilangakon among the other individuals. The good and the bad of the police is spoken of. There are allegations, organized crime, or in your terms it means that the underworld criminal activity is on the rise. I called on the President, the Prime Minister and the IGP along with other officers. We held discussions. We will take action to curb these events. We will move ahead in an organized manner. We need to save the towns from illegal activity. We have seen a trend where the drugs are moving into the villages aimed at the future generation of the country. We need to focus on protecting the future of the younger generations. Join with the police and ensure their protection and strengthen the security at the villages.
15 questions were included into the parliamentary agenda for the day with the expectation of receiving answers. However, proper answers were not provided to 12 of these questions as the MP who raised the question or the respective minister were not present in the chamber.
UPFA MP Udaya Gamanpila had raised a question on the participation of a businessman named George Soros at an economic forum in Sri Lanka. Requesting time, Malik Samaravikrama, the Minister of Development Strategies and International Trade, noted that he needs to check as to whether this is related to his portfolio.
Honorable Deputy Speaker, this question was posed to me yesterday. I also need to check if it is related to my ministry.
The question was raised in December, Deputy Speaker.
We did not invite anyone. He came to Sri Lanka, hosted a forum and invited us to participate. We did not pay for the hotels and we did not do anything else. What are you shamelessly asking here? Honorable Deputy Speaker, people from the world are coming to see the government of President Maithripala Sirisena. You had to plead from people like George Soros to come here, but not him. What happened? When people come here, they were asked for 5% commission. Everyone is scared to offer. If commissions of 5% and 10% are sought, who would come here?
Prime Minister, you informed the House that there will be an economic forum and that George Soros will be invited. Are you lying to this chamber?
Persons like Joseph Stiglitz and Ricardo Hausmann will not associate rogues. They want to earn more. You earned from the Colombo Stock Exchange. Now you are afraid because we have introduced the capital gain for the stock market. The manner in which theft was committed will be revealed to the nation in another 3 to 4 months. Therefore, find some good lawyers.
හම්බ කරන ආර්ථිකයක් යනාදී වශයෙන් මේ පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ මන්ත්‍රීවරයෙක් ගරු අගමැතිතුමාගෙන් ප්‍රශ්නයක් ඇහුවම මේ ගරු සභාවේ අනිකුත් මන්ත්‍රීවරුන්ට ඔබතුමා කියන්නේ
He provided an answer to my question.
If he is the Rajapaksa regime, let him wear that hat. If he falls into that same lot, then I have nothing to do about that. He is saying that he belongs with them. I did not say that.
Now, the bill to increase the private sector wages by 2,500 rupees and to ensure the minimum wage is 10,000 rupees was passed in Parliament today.
The increase of salaries will take place under 2 stages. One is to increase the private sector wages by 2,500 rupees and to ensure the minimum wage is 10,000 rupees. Under the first phase, if a person receives a wage of 40,000 rupees, there will be an increase of 1,500 rupees. And the first phase of the increase of the salary will be implemented from May 2015. If in any case they do not receive a salary similar to 41,500 rupees, those individuals will receive 1,000 rupees additionally. To people who question as to why the lowest salary level is determined to 10,000 rupees and charge that it should be increased, this is just the start.
Postponing the local government polls was debated in Parliament today.
The process of investigating the complaints and the suggestions on demarcation is more complex than expected. The process of considering the appeals that have been made and also reconsidering the demarcation of divisions will result in reaching the final decision on the demarcation. Once this committee completes its task, measures will be taken to call for the local government elections. The mandate of the investigations committee ended in November. It is clear that the extension of this is a plan to continue to postpone the elections. Conducting elections under the existing system. There is a process to postpone an election in order to solve the internal issues of a party. The United National Party will have a way citing that November will be a good period for them and to postpone it to November. Some of the demarcation line directly run through forest reserves. Some have used walls as a mark of the demarcation. Therefore, in order to resolve this issue, I need a certain time period. I need time to do what I must do. I state with responsibility that the elections will take place after all the appeals are considered. If this is done, almost half of the Pradesh Sabhas will be governed by the United National Party. We have the greatest desire to hold the elections. MP Mujibur Rahman will speak on the divisions. It's like mincing a samosa. That is how Colombo is. Basil said that if Lawrence Almeida was given this task, the division of Colombo would have been done in a far more better manner. There are certain areas of demarcation that have been accepted by the government. Why cannot you start the process from those areas? The United National Party has carried out the demarcation process. Let us accept that and make amendments. Why cannot you accept that of the UMP? Are you prepared for that? Then write them down for us. Certain issues have arisen with regard to increasing the female representation into the system. If there are 5,000 candidates, you need 25 million rupees as bonds for the election. Then one must engage in peddling drugs. There is a right to appoint an appeals committee on the demarcation process. When the process is taking place, you cannot call for elections.
Sri Lanka's largest public service initiative, the News First Come at the Door-to-Door campaign, organised to be the voice for the voiceless in remote Sri Lanka, took place today, centering 3 provinces.
The campaign, which is supported by the University of Peradeniya, will take place until the 18th of this month.
The News First Come at the Door-to-Door campaign visited the remote area of North Pitikala, Hattaka and Manampitiya in Galle. The lack of drinking water facilities was the primary concern faced by the locals in the Budukederavatte area in Pitikala.
We do not have a drop of water. There is a rock underneath. There are 2 10,000-litre tanks that are not being made use of for over 2 years. The people here do not have a solution to obtain water.
This is the ward project located a kilometre away from Pitikala.
This well was constructed with funds of the previous government. The motor was fixed, the lines were laid and everything is done. But we do not have electricity. If there was electricity, we could switch the motors on and we could have resolved this water issue.
The News First team based in the Eastern Province visited many remote areas in Wahankale, Trincomalee, where many people were plagued by the chronic kidney disease.
We drank water that was obtained from wells. We informed every official we can about the water issue, even during the election period.
A water purification project in the Vanil area in Kantale in the Trincomalee district. Approximately 3,500 families receive water from this purification plant established by a private donor at a temple in this area in question. Approximately around 50-70 people have lost their lives in the last 10 years owing to chronic kidney illness in this area alone. A gallon of water costs them 2 rupees and 50 cents. What they need is a way, what they need is some sort of resolve to the water issue in this area.
Even though this is a solution, we need the attention of the government. Look at how many individuals are suffering with the kidney disease. They have done this hoping that they will live for a bit longer.
The teams visited the Moravava Namalwate areas to meet with those who were badly affected during the war, where the major issue was the lack of infrastructure facilities.
Well, this is Fatima. When I asked her what she had cooked for lunch, she said there's only rice. When I asked her why there's only rice, she says that she doesn't have any money to cook curry. She has only cooked rice for her entire family to survive the entire day. Well, this is a life led by Fatima. She mirrors many lives here in Trincomalee, in the rural parts of Trincomalee. Apart from having bad sanitation facilities, no education for her daughter, this is one of the fundamental things they lack. hunger is something that they're born with. And she says it's something that she fears she will have to live with the entire life.
ජනමාධ්‍යක ප්‍රමුඛ සහ මුඛ්‍ය පරමාර්ථය වෙන්නේ watchdog කෙනෙක්. එහෙම නැත්නම් මුර.
The role of the media is to act as a watchdog. A media institution should take up leadership and look for solutions for the problems the people face. The responsibility of a media institution is to warn and inform if danger is at hand.
කොට අනතුර දැනුම් දීමේ වගකීම තමයි ජනමාධ්‍යයට තිබෙන්නේ.
This boy, who is a student at the Nalla Kuttiyari Mixed School, pursues his education amidst the greatest difficulties. News First was quick to be of relief to this boy. The boy's father is being treated in hospital for a serious illness. News First visits the Gammaduwa village in Abaganga Korale following observances at the Sri Purva Ramaraj Mahaviharaya in Rathota. These houses were built in 1929 and this is its present state. A stone that was kept on the roofing sheet fell on my head and it cracked open. The News First team also visited the line houses in Inguruatta, Nagala, where the major concern was the dilapidated road system in the area. Due to the improper construction of the Kuruwaba bridge in Matale, many farmland in the area have been destroyed. Farmers say this canal, which carries water from the Dediwala Oya to the Nikavella settlements, is blocked by the construction of the bridge. The RD has told that this be carried out the way they want, so they have constructed small canals and this is now blocked. This is dirty water that flows from the houses. We get into this and clean it, but if it rains, this gets filled.
The Pradesh Sabha is not doing it. Even the Agriculture Department is not doing it. They are waiting for us to do it.
Now, as mentioned in our headlines, Venerable Udweda Malokathera, who was remanded for the illegal possession of an elephant calf, was granted bail by the Colombo Additional Magistrates Court.
Colombo Additional Magistrate Nishant Piri is ordered for the Venerable Thero to be released on 3 surety bails of 6 million rupees each. The Colombo Magistrate also ordered that if the Venerable Thero violated the bail conditions, the bail that was granted will be terminated. The bail conditions imposed are not to influence witnesses, return to court and support any further investigations. I have no desire to go against a government that was elected by the people. However, as the Mahasangha, we will always point out any shortcoming. I am not permanent in this earth. However, the Sasana and the culture must be protected. What is happening is a process of taking away all the tamed elephants from the temples. I call on the President and other officials to intervene in this matter.
අනිත් සියලුම බලධාරීන්ටත් මේ ප්‍රශ්නෙට මැදිහත් වෙන්න ඇත්ත වශයෙන්ම මට කියන්න තේරෙන්නේ නැහැ මොකද්ද කියන එක.
I do not know what to say exactly. I cannot say yes and I cannot say no. But I can say one thing. There is a conspiracy that is taking place to nab all elephants in the temples that take part in the Peraharas.
කරන කුමන්ත්‍රණයක් රට තුල ක්‍රියාත්මකයි.
Former parliamentarian Duminda Silva pleaded guilty on the charges of not declaring his assets for 3 years before Colombo Chief Magistrate today. Colombo Chief Magistrate Gihan Pilapiti has said that the sentencing was postponed to the 18th of this month. The Commission to investigate allegations of bribery or corruption filed a case against the former MP for not declaring his assets and liabilities for the years 2011, 2012 and 2013.
project of the plan to develop 23 cities in the Western Province commenced in Borella today under the auspices of Minister of Western Development and Megapolis, Patali Champika Ranavaka.
A project to expand the road down Elliot Place in Borella under the Sukita Puravara development program organized by the Urban Development Authority commenced today. This is aimed to adding an alternate route as a solution to the traffic congestion in Borella.
This 60-foot road leads to the Magazine Road, so I think a long distance can be travelled using the road. With the development of these roads, we are planning to construct a new market as well.
Our country is entangled in a deadly debt trap. Citizens in our country face difficulties in settling these debts. During the previous year, each citizen in the country was due to pay 244,000 rupees. Through this development project, we hope to settle the current and future debts and to have a strong and sustainable development.
I think around 600 houses were built behind this hall. Now when they said that 4 tracks will be built on this road, and how will this improve anything? Now when Minister Patali Champika promised that he'll provide 600 houses, I thought all those houses will be given to me. Now the minister says that he has lost all 600 houses and now is left with nothing. So now we face an issue, because these people in the area have been waiting for 21 years and nothing was done to the area.
Taking a look at some business news now, Sri Lankan shares gained for a second straight session with the index touching its technical resistance level of 6,000 points.
The Colombo Stock Exchange showed a decrease during the last year, and the values in the past 7 months alone decreased by 21% or 1,600 points. For the first time in 2 years, the stock market values reached the lowest value below 6,000 points. However, today, the market showed an increase of 71 points or 1.2%. Recently, the Prime Minister made a statement in Parliament that a tax on profit for the CSE will be introduced, and market experts state that the stock exchange would further decline if this was imposed.
A national seminar on indigenous farm animal genetic resources in Sri Lanka was held in Colombo today.
I think it's very important to preserve this gene pool. Preservation of gene pool. Now people are fighting in this world is why? It's because of ethnicity. For what? It's the gene pool again. For these poor animals, there are no fighters for them, then we have to fight for them. When I found out, when I had a small reading on this, I found that there are about 1,400 indigenous farm animals or animal husbandry related domestic animals are on the brink of extinction. So therefore we have a responsibility towards this.
News from SSC. Royal College Colombo made a strong comeback on day 2 of the 137th edition of the Battle of the Blues today, with Pasindu Surya Bandara standing strong in the middle. Royal College Colombo opened day 2 with an overnight score of 1 run for the loss of no wickets.
The Battle of the Blues between Royal College Colombo and St. Thomas's College Mount Lavinia is worked off at the SSC grounds in Colombo. The lads from Colombo 7 lost their 5 wickets inside 122 runs. However, Malit Karyavasam and Pasindu Surya Bandara built a strong 139-run 6-wicket stand. Karyavasam was dismissed for 78 when the score was at 269 runs. Pasindu Surya Bandara is unbeaten on 97 as Royal College posted 280 runs for the loss of 7 wickets at stumps. Earlier batting first, St. Thomas's College Mount Lavinia declared their first essay on 350 runs for the loss of 5 wickets. Royal College trailed by 70 runs with 3 wickets remaining in the first innings.
Now on a separate note, it was reported that a shark had made its way into the waters of the Colombo harbour today.
We leave you tonight with the footage of this amazing sea creature.
I'm Saturang Haparaj for News First.
I'm Dasmi Athada for News First. Good night and have a great weekend ahead.